Hi, I'm Josh, and today I thought we could have a nice little beat making session with the Yamaha QY-70. Now, I've made a video with the Yamaha QY-70 before, and then I didn't really do much with it after, which I kind of regret. It is like an amazing little device, and I do love playing around with it. So I thought, why not make some nice chill beats with it? The Yamaha QY-70 is kind of like an all-in-one like groove box and sequencer, but it also has a very 90s flavor, which, you'll understand once I start playing it. Now I've got it hooked up to this MIDI keyboard. It has a little keyboard here that you can use for playing notes. I like using a MIDI keyboard just so I can impart like a velocity information. It's going to have just a default piano sound loaded up, so when I start to play it, I think you're going to go, oh man, the 90s. That was a little clumsy, but yeah. And so there's a couple different ways that you could approach making music on here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the little pattern button, which is going to take us into the pattern screen. Now, the QY-70 comes with some built-in patterns, which, are not actually what we're here for, but why don't we listen to this one? It's called drum and bass. I just clipped my audio interface. But now we're at a blank pattern, and I can explain to you kind of how it works. So if you're building a pattern on the Yamaha QY-70, the way that it sort of organizes things, and you can kind of see them written here, is that you have an intro, main A, main B, fill A, B, fill B, A, and ending parts. And so those are sort of like the building blocks of your song. I'm going to mostly just work out of the intro, but I wanted you to know that there is more to it than what you might see here. So the first thing I'm going to do before I record anything is that I'm going to make sure that this section is 4 measures long. Now, I've already kind of got an idea of the sort of beat I'd like to make. I'm going to do something in C. That was not what I expected to hear when I hit those notes. I'm going to do something in C because, it's basic. I like things that are easy. And I wanted to make a chord pattern that does not resolve. So when I say resolve, if I'm in the key of C, here I am in C. Usually when you listen to chords, you'll have a pattern that kind of ends on either C or its relative minor, A minor. So like if I had a pattern in the key of C that goes C, F, G, A minor, you could say that resolves to A minor, or if I had C, F, G, C minor, that resolves to C. I said C minor there, but I meant just C. My bad. I don't know anything about music. But on the other hand, you could have a pattern that does not resolve. For instance, if I had the chord progression that goes C, F, E minor, G, it doesn't resolve. It still feels like there's something more there. So what I'm going to work with, and this is nothing at all like revolutionary, I want to make sure I give that disclaimer, but is just going from an F7 to a G7 so that it always sounds like at some point you're going to go to the C, but you never do because I'm mean like that. To start with, why don't we record a little something? So I'm going to hit this red button with a white circle, and it brings us into this screen where we can record either as overdub or step recording. I'm going to do overdub, and I am now able to choose the instrument I want. So here it says grand piano, and I'm so sorry if it's difficult to see. There's no backlight for the screen, unfortunately. But as I go through, I can change the sounds. And all of these pianos, some of them might sound very samey. But I want a nice kind of chill sound. Here's where I want to be. Mellow grand piano. Perfect. So to start the recording, I'm going to hit play and it'll count me in. Now, I have it set to 120, but before I start recording, I'm going to change that. I think I'd like it to be at around 100. So if I hold this button, and I'm sorry you keep seeing the top of my head, but if I hold this button here, it says -1 and under it, no. That's going to lower it down until it gets down to 100. So now I'll hit play, you'll hear a metronome counting us in, and then I can start recording. Now, I made a mistake there, and there's a couple different ways that you can handle that, but usually I just hold Shift and press this bottom button, and that undoes. So now if I hit play, you can hear there's nothing. So now, round 2. And part of that little arpeggiation got cut off at the beginning, but you know what? That's okay. We're going to roll with it. So at this point, I could add in either a bass, I could add in a lead, I could add in drums. Really, I could do whatever I want. That's it's freeing, and that's really what music is all about. But I think I will go with drums. So like how there were like a bunch of piano sounds, and there's a bunch of other instruments as well, but the QY-70 also has a bunch of drum sounds, some of which are those. So what I'm going to do, like I did before, is I'll hit record, and it brings us to this screen where I can go through and choose the drum sounds I want. Now, I'm going to go down an octave because, you know, the different drum sounds are assigned to different keys. And look for the kind of sounds I want. And also, of course, it hits. So I think I have something in mind going like, so nice and simple. And like before, I hit play. 2, 3. All right, cool, we're rolling. So now if I wanted to add in a bass, I can go down. There's a kind of like dedicated bass channel. That I can add in some funky bass sounds. I've got it primed and ready to go. I hit play. 2, 3. And that's added in. What I could do next is add in a lead. And if I hit record, you know, it brings up this screen. I can start going through, and there are a ton of sounds on here. If I made a video covering all of them, well, no one would watch it. It would you would get bored well before I was done. But the sound I really wanted was this trumpet sound, which I think I'm going to add in. But before I do, there's a couple other things that I wanted to go through, and the first one is that, oh man, I'd actually kind of like this to be faster. No problem. I just go over and I can raise the tempo. So now I play it. And you can hear that it's picked up a bit. And then, you know, if I decide that that's a little bit faster than I'd actually like it to be. There we go. So one last change that I wanted to make that I was noticing as we were playing around with the different settings is I think I'm going to turn those arpeggiated chords into just a straight chord. I just think it'll be a little bit more clean. You know, that's just me personally, though. Of course, you know, different people have different preferences. But so what I'm going to do is I'll hit menu and job, and I'll go down, and pardon me, my head is about to come into frame so that I can more accurately see what I'm doing. But you want to go down to erase event. And I erased, and now you can hear there's nothing. So I can re-record. So like we did before, record, play, counts us in, 4. Some other things that I could do if I wanted is like I could go up and I could say quantize the drums, hit menu, job, and up here near the top is quantize, and hit quantize. It'll let me choose like the resolution of note I want to quantize to. And now if I start playing, you can hear it's snapping to the beat more. These are just different things that you can do when you use a device like this. Of course, you don't have to. There's definitely room for like more kind of loose, unquantized beats. A lot of room for it, actually. It usually sounds awesome. But yeah, before we jam out over this, just as a little outro, I wanted to thank you so much for hanging around, for watching and listening. If you're new around here and you enjoy the video, please consider hitting subscribe, both to help support the channel and so that you'll get notified next time I upload. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. And you have no idea how many times I got tongue twisted trying to say the phrase returning subscriber. Thank God I was able to manage it twice without having to cut. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.